Hello, everybody. Just trying to figure this out. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Hmm. These highlights are a little too hot. Okay. It's a little contrasty, but let's see what I could do here. Well, Alright, well, I guess let's just go to the frogs. I call them fergs. Actually, let's see. Alright, let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, that's not the right app. Okay. So the tricky part's going to be to figure out the color of metal in here. So we've got their hats, we've got their armor, we've got the shoulder pads, and we've got the gun. So 4 different types of metal. And sometimes they're right next to each other, so in order for it to not get too gray, I have to kind of start thinking about how to make it a little bit more interesting and diverse. So I think I think I'm just going to go through and do it and then color adjust at the end. Because we've got all this beautiful, you know, weird purples and yellows and oranges and deep blues. I don't want to get back to my old habits of drawing brown and yellow and green for everything. Keep them in this crazy color palette world. Okay. This is the part I like, is just kind of making up reflections and stuff, or just figuring out the play between form, light, shadow, and then put reflections on top of that, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But the fun thing about metal is like you don't have to follow really any rules. I mean, you do, but there's a lot of flexibility. So if it was facing that way, it would probably pick up some sort of color. And let's say the sky is, what is the sky? Let's not call it blue. Let's call it like you know, we got some of this yellow here, so maybe like a yellow sky. Imaginary, of course, or yellow green maybe. Let's shift it green a bit. See what happens. That's a crazy color, but we'll go super low opacity. Yeah. So now the only concern is it gonna blend in with the frog's skin color and make it look like a window of some sort? But again, we could adjust it later. I'm just trying to kind of explore here and have fun. And then let's do like a bright, shiny highlight, or light side, I guess. Oh, hey, someone chatted. Hey, super lolers. What's up? These edges, let's go a little bit lighter. Actually, let's go darker. Okay. Now let's go super light. So this is looking too glowy, I think. So I'm just gonna bring this back down. Then I guess there'd be kind of a cast shadow from the hat, so let's see what would happen if I did that. Wouldn't be too bad because I guess it would be more of a reflection. Let's do it like that. I'll darken it up here. Ooh. My computer is making some loud noises, so I'm gonna save. Okay. That's okay. Okay. This is a little weird. Because, like, where's the front edge and where's the highlight? So let's define this a bit. I have my line art turned off because why do I have my line art turned off? I'm trying to get away, trying to see what looks right in the painting as opposed to matching the line art, because often what looks good in the line art doesn't work when you do it as a painting. And that took me a long time to kind of embrace. I resisted that concept a lot because when I started out, I used to do post-production work on comics, and that included coloring comics. And the golden rule was don't ever mess with the line art, because that was the cartoonists' area, and we didn't mess with their art. You know, that was someone else's art. That's how they envisioned it. So we embraced that. So I kind of went with that into animation, and it kind of wasn't until recently that I started to allow myself to adjust other people's line art, since that's more of a team effort, and then go from there to giving myself permission to adjust my own line art, which sounds silly, but it's funny the hang-ups we get as artists. Okay. It's weird to talk to myself. I don't even know if there's no one in the chat, so I'm just talking to myself. But I don't know if someone's viewing this later on. This is what I would be doing internally in my brain anyway. when I'm working. So I'll do it there. I'll do it here. Okay. And generally I would paint flats on all the different kinds of areas, but I think I'm just going to go top to bottom on these. I don't know, feeling like kind of in that mood. So let's go with that. It's a little light. There you go. So the question is, do I add his eyelids or not? So previously the way I was drawing these Fergs was having their eyes kind of set inside the these, I don't know, skeletal skin flap things. But when I'm drawing them, they just kind of feel more expressive when they don't have them. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and ooh. All right, 1 second. Okay. I'll do them without, and then on a second layer I will add them on and see if it looks better or not. This eye is looking a little bit oblong, so I'm just gonna do it. And I don't work this way in my animation work, but here I'm trying to use as few layers as possible, just because I would like to keep it feeling like a traditional painting, even though it might not look like it. I just want to approach it as if it was, as I would approach a traditional painting. But you know, obviously there's like multiple layers here, and that just kind of represents my lack of bravery, I guess. You know, kind of giving myself room to adjust things later on if I don't feel them working. Now I could do that if it was on a flat layer as well, but it would just take a little bit longer. And this each layer that I add here is just kind of one step that I'm like, where I'm unsure of what I previously did. So if you go back to, all this is one layer, and that was kind of fun to do. And then I was like, let me just add some lighting here, you know, and it's like, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, so so yeah, so that's what these layers represent. And a couple of adjustments, and this is where I kind of like made a big change. And you know, like, this would not be a easy thing to do traditionally, but hey, I've got the tools, I might as well use them. There's no rules here that say I have to paint it exactly like a traditional thing. Anyway, so here we go. Okay, so let's give these eyeballs some form here. If I just kind of go black, I guess, with a really low opacity. Yeah, there you go. I think I'm just going to leave it at that because the eyeballs are kind of already dark. Now the helmet is casting a shadow on his eyes, but I do want to have a little bit of lighting on him. So let's go with that yellow light we were talking about before. Just going to go with a full opacity. It looks weird. Let me just bring it in a little bit closer there. That looks weirder. Let's go to the side. Okay, that's still weird, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a new layer and see what happens. Maybe just kind of like a thin indication there. I kind of like that. You know, what works for, like I said, what works for painting or what works in a drawing doesn't always work in the painting. So this is kind of like the point of this too is like to explore the look and feel of these guys. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's just keep going and see what happens. I kind of want to do the skin stuff last, so let's just jump down to their clothes. And I kind of thought maybe it would be nice to make their armor very like a dark metal. Let's see, I got a little message here. Go darker. No, I'm still on that other layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to keep it on another separate layer so that I could just paint the skin underneath it freely. I don't have to kind of paint around anything later on. I'm not sure yet. And the skirts, I have no idea what color their skirts should be. I'm thinking it might be good to have it be colorful. So they've got an orange, green, so maybe kind of like in the purplish area, magenta-ish maybe. Let's see here. Like a muted? No, that's the same color as this. So maybe go back to the orangey, brown. Is brown safe? Too safe? Blue? No. Green? Let's do like a kind of a there you go, like kind of a puke, ochre-ish olive green. See what that looks like. Maybe a dark version of that. I hate that how I'm just trying to get away from muted earth colors. So let's push it to a reddish orange. That's a little too much. Maybe go into maroons perhaps. Let's go with that for now. I don't know if there's any point to these streams. But it's not often that I'm working on my own work, or it hasn't been often, due to NDAs and whatnot. So it's a nice opportunity to kind of share what I'm working on, because usually I do a painting and nobody sees it, sometimes ever, or for like years. My previous job before Adventure Time was on Golden Axe, and it's been done for over almost a year now, like completely finished. It's just sitting on a shelf somewhere, and they haven't aired it. You could thank Paramount for that. But it kind of sucks because that's some of my best work. Some of my best work and some of my worst work. But yeah, it's kind of annoying that it's just out there rotting. It'll come out though. Chat disconnected. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that maroon. I think it works. Not sure about these shoulder pads. Oops. I'm just gonna hue adjust them a little bit until it kind of brownish, leathery. Kind of like that. Now maybe it's kind of like a rusty, like a bronzish thing. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like mixed metals. Whatever. I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. Oh, I see what's going on there. Okay. So let's make it. Let's commit to the shape of that head. Oops. What the hell? It's kind of the same color as the strap, but that's okay. Let's give it some form, and then why don't we make the edges of this shoulder pad the same bluish metal as the hats. So right now the shoulder pads kind of look like leather or something, but once I shiny them up, they'll look nice. Just looking for the right. All right. Well, I hate that. Okay. I'm just not gonna dwell on that too much. I'm gonna drive myself crazy trying to figure this out, but okay, let's just do that. And I'll go to here, kind of keep it nice and bronzish or rustish. I don't know what to say about that. Is this weird, like, that I'm talking to myself? I think, for me, this is my, some people need music to work to. And I think for me, music often drowns out the conversation in my own head. I need to kind of talk to myself to not to come up with how I'm going to paint it, but to commit. Because if I say in my head, I'm going to make this brown, then I'll do that. Whereas if I just kind of like jam it, getting in the flow with some music or something, I'll just keep changing it, I think. I don't know. So I think what I have to do is kind of bring in a reflected light here. Yeah, kind of similar to the helmet. But I think I need to make it a little more... you know what, let's make it like a bluish. It's always that last little bit that kind of brings it together. And I think I need to darken the middle of these because it's still reading as kind of a possibly a leather. And there we go. Make this really dark right here. And just calm it down a bit. Ugh. One thing I hate about that Wacom pens is I hate this stupid button. I never use it. I've never used it in my life. Well, that's a little too dark, but just bring it in a bit more and bring it out a bit more. Just toning it down a bit. Went too strong with it. Too much contrast. I do want to create like kind of a sharp silhouette for these guys, but I don't want them to pop out too much. I want them to kind of feel like they belong in the space they're sitting in. Okay, so I'm hoping this next part. Okay, so let's kind of continue that with the trim here. I'm not going to go, the problem with this brush is it has that little hairline there. Okay, let's blend that in. All right, so let's go to that color. Turn this on. Too close to that. That's too bright. Try to keep this trim as simple as I can. Not gonna get too finicky with that. Okay, let's do that. Do that. Okay, and then I think I have to make this a different color. Maybe I'll go like a warm blue rather than a cool blue. Just do a few of these babies and see what happens. See what we get. And I'm going to do it uniform so that, and adjust the color, the lighting later. Yeah, I like the color of that. The shapes need to be refined, but that's no biggie. I'm just going to go through and do all of these, and then I'll fix them all up. It's getting to be lunchtime. I'm not sure if the YouTube is the best venue for streaming or the most effective, but I kind of don't want to give Amazon any business, and I'm not sure about the format of the vertical format of Instagram. I don't know how to make that work yet, but I don't necessarily want to support Meta or Google, but here we are, kind of locked into their ecosystems. How did we get to this, right? We forged the links of our own chains. Okay, that's a good start. So I'm just gonna pick out some individual links here, and hopefully I don't have to go through every single thing. I'll just go vertically, and hopefully that'll be enough. And if I need to, I'll pick out some little highlights on individual, I don't know what to call these, scales. And if I do some over on this side right here, maybe it'll look like he has like a little gut, which I would like. Some more here. Okay. One more here. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Getting some form there, yeah. Okay, and I think if we put some shadow underneath the arms and underneath the band thing, that'll make it nice. So what I'll do is take that. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see what happens if I add a highlight or two. It's too erratic. Let me see. Let me just go, just hit a little area. Just do a couple more here, and we'll call it that. Done. Okay. Might have to tone it down a bit because it's actually more reflective than the eyes, and we want the eyes to kind of be the main draw. In fact, I'm gonna go back to the eyes and kind of brighten them up a bit. There you go. All right. So now the skirt. Skirt's a bit tricky because if we have our light coming from this way, from behind him, or behind him and above, none of his skirt would be in the light, but ambiently this part would be lighter than, say, the sides or the inside of the skirt. So I think what we're going to probably have to do a lot with a little here. So I'm just going to pick that, brighten it up, maybe yellow it up a bit. And then let me look at the thing. Okay. Just kind of that's too bright. Okay, let's try that. Is that the same? Could be the same. I think it's still a little bit too bright, but let's go with it and blend it, and then we can darken it. Let's do kind of like some indication of wrinkles there. Not too many, just to make it seem like a fabric as opposed to, I don't know what, plastic, I guess. And then I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna kind of heat it up a bit. And then do a little touch on the butt here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and then I'm going to sign off so that I can have some lunch. Just gonna fix up some of this shape. This ankle is so weird, I know, but I just kind of didn't want to dwell on the. I want to try to embrace the weirdness of the drawing, I guess. Oops, I think I was muted. I just said I think I'm gonna step away from this for now, for a little bit, and get back to it later. This shirt is causing a little bit more trouble for me than the other one, but it'll get sorted out. I think I'm zoomed in too much, actually, but yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, it's almost there. I just need to put in a little bit more time on it. But thanks for watching this. If you watched it, or if you're watching it later, I don't know. And I don't know, let me know if I should do more of these, or if they suck, let me know, I guess. It's kind of weird if you say that, but you can. You can say that, I guess. It's a free country. People say whatever they want anyway. Alright, see you later.